Welcome to another episode of Overasked. Today we have an extremely special guest. We were just chatting before. Actually, it was recorded, so you might hear it still. But he is seems to be a jack of all trades here. Peter Lorimer is on the show, and he was a music producer. He's the host of Netflix Stay Here. He's a real estate extraordinaire. Like I said, he seems to do it all. So, Peter, thank you so much for being here.
It is an absolute delight to be on the podcast. A delight.
Well, we're delighted to have you as well. So, what we always do to start the show for people who may not know you, can you give us your elevator pitch?
Sure. Well, I was acquitted, so I'm released with good behavior. Oh, should I really be talking about that? No, I'm kidding. All right, let's go back.
Jail cell.
Yeah, this is actually a fancy Arizona jail cell right now. Me and Christian Slater, he's next door. Let me kind of give you the 411. So was a dance house music producer. Dropped out of high school at 15 to go make house records. Seemed to manage to find a path to it. Had approximately between the US and the UK about 50 number ones in the dance charts. Was a writer, producer, and an artist, but I remixed everybody and their mother, going back from starting with people like David Bowie, and then worked with INXS and George Michael, and then I ended my career with people like Seal and Christina Aguilera, and then I bailed in like 2001, 2, something like that, when I saw Napster was, the circus was coming into town, and I'm like, oh, this is about to decimate the industry. So I managed to, I won a big hit at the end of my career. And I took the winnings and I'm like, well, music's kind of going to go through it. So I'm going to start investing in property. And I took that money, started investing in property in LA. And I just had a bit of a knack for it. It was kind of similar to music, walking. It was like hearing a good song that is going to be a hit. You walk into an area where it might be a little bit gritty, but you're like, this is going to pop. And so I started investing, and then the creative community came out. All of my mates in the music business were like, ooh, what's he doing? And then I became an agent, joined Keller Williams, was the number one Keller Williams agent in LA, started my own firm in 2010, focusing on a niche of creatives. And then flash forward to 2020, we ended with 4 offices, 200 agents. And then I became the vice president for the whole of the greater Los Angeles region for Corcoran, as in Barbara Corcoran. And I merged PLG with Corcoran. And then my side hustle is a little bit of telly here and there, a little bit of telly presenting on the telly.
Yeah. It's such a big resume that you have. So you went into investing first, and then you just said, you know what, this is, I feel like I'm good at this. I'm going to become an agent. So where did your clientele, did you have a huge database already from music already?
Yeah. So I was very, very, very heavily involved in the club scene in LA. I was never a promoter, but it was my life, right? Dance music, DJs. So I was at all the clubs. I knew everybody at the clubs, and that really was my initial sphere of influence. And I remember shuffling into the back of Keller Williams, right? And at that time, I just had a number one in 12 countries, right? In the dance charts. And I was like, I ain't gonna say shit. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. Nobody needs to know that I'm a DJ and I'm all this, and I did all that. So I just shuffled in, and I sat at the back, and I just did everything they told me, and I hated it. No offense against Keller Williams. I hated it. I wore a suit. Never worn a suit in my life.
We don't wear suits here either on the podcast.
No.
I nearly said a really filthy joke there, but I just paused. I pulled back.
Dude,
no.
Fucking do whatever you want.
This is unfiltered.
Yeah, this is as unfiltered as it gets.
But it lives on the internet forever.
Yeah, that it does.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't think of that much.
No.
But anyway, the advice I was given was well intended. Farm an area. Cold call, do all of this shit, and I was like, I remember coming out with my missus after about 6 months, and I didn't have a lead. I didn't have nothing. I was just like, oh, this is awful. And I made the decision to leave the music business behind, right? So I literally burned my boat at the shore, as Napoleon Hill says. And I was like, I can't do both, because I know I got to kiss goodbye to that. Because a part of the reason why I had to leave the music industry was I was a wild man. I wanted to get sober, and I'm going to be 20 years sober this August.
Oh, awesome. Congratulations.
And so I did it, and I'm like, I didn't feel myself. I felt like a phony wearing a suit and a freaking name tag and all this shit. And I came home, and it was like, I can imagine, I kind of almost came out of the figurative closet, and I said, you know what? I got to do it my way, babe, to Cindy, my wife, or I'd rather drive a bus. And she said, so just do it your way. Just do what you want to do. And I'm like, good idea. And then on came the Metallica t-shirt, the shorts, the hat, and my business went and just took off, because people saw the Pete that they liked and not the veneer that so many real estate agents have.
I feel like a lot of agents at the beginning of their career play the role of what they think a real estate agent should be. I certainly felt like that. I felt like an actor. Still kind of do when I'm showing properties, when I show properties, which is never. But but when I have in the recent past, I always feel like I'm playing a role, and I'm like suppressing everything that I actually want to say, because all I want to do is insert jokes throughout the entire conversation. But sometimes you just can't do that. But did you actually wear a physical name tag? Like, did they have you wear an actual name tag?
For a hot second.
Okay, got it.
The team leader was like,
Jesus.
Yeah. Dude, tell me. And I ran into one of my boys.
Oh, God.
Oh, you're fucked forever.
Yeah.
That shit, like living on the internet, that lives in his mind forever.
Yeah.
He never became a client.
Where was it? Where did you run into him?
So I was in the Los Feliz Starbucks there on
Trendy.
I think it's on Vermont, or not Vermont, the other one. Maybe it's Vermont. And I was full on suit, dude. Full on suit. I maybe even had a tie on. Now, no offense against people in suit and ties. If you feel comfortable in it, great. I didn't. I looked like a freaking funeral director. And I had the name tag on, and my boy goes, this DJ, right, friend of mine, like hip hop shorts, like big baggy t-shirt, hat on backwards, loads of jewels. He's like, Pete? And I'm like, hey, man, what happened? He saw the name tag, and he goes, what happened to you? And I was like, whoa, that was the beginning of the metamorphosis.
Right.
Yeah. I came to the same realization as well. I mean, like I said, I come from the music background as well. And I got into the industry because I thought, I had a good personality. And then as soon as I got in, I lost all my personality because I'm trying to be like someone else, and it just turns me into a fucking asshole, So then exactly what you said, as soon as I kind of just took a breath, did things how I wanted to do it, I'm happier, my business is better, everything works out. So is that the advice you would give to all new agents right now?
Yeah, just as a point of order, Matt, you actually really don't have a great personality as it goes.
I was going to say that too, actually.
Well, thank you very much.
This guy's forcing it on us that he has a great personality. Yeah, like, let the audience.
What are you going to say? No one's ever told me I didn't have one. This is fucking crazy. I have to rethink everything.
The Misfits t-shirt kind of, set me off. Bad memories,
Yeah, the Misfits t-shirt is like an attempt at a personality almost. When people wear old band t-shirts, that's kind of what it is.
I'm a huge Misfits fan, actually. I don't just wear it because it's cool.
Right.
I have many albums.
Man, you should come to my next show at the Greek Theater, and I'll get hit in the face again and knocked over. Did you see that video?
No, but I was actually more of a Michael Graves fan than a Glenn Danzig fan.
Okay. Well, we can swap Danzig stories later.
Yeah,
just for the listeners out there, Pete Lorimer actually produced a lot of dance music that's really good, and one album for Glenn Danzig called, you should play it at Christmas, it's called 666 Satan's Child. And it actually got really great reviews, like one of his grittiest albums.
Oh,
but anyway, I digress. So to answer your question,
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you're the guest. Actually, you tell us.
Yeah.
So listen, it's something that is beat to death right now. But can you imagine how shitty someone will fail? An agent will feel, right? They get into the industry, they pretend to be someone else, and then they fail. Forever, they're going to be like, shit, maybe I should have kind of been myself, right? It's a big regret. So I say just go into the industry. If you love rave music, talk about it on your social media. If you love dog racing, talk about it on your social media. If you love dancing, talk about it, because 86% of deals come from people you know. They come from your tribe, right? People that you have an affinity with. And I swear on the former PLG offices and now the Corcoran offices, one day I am going to have in letters 10 feet tall: when you run out of people you know, look for strangers. Because people are obsessed with that 14% who are disloyal. Not all of them, but there's no emotional leverage there. You don't know them. They don't know you. They don't know your friends. So if they burn you, they don't care. Sure. So stick with the 80%, 86%. That's what I say.
There you go. You heard it here first from Peter. So listen to everything he says and don't fucking tell him you have a good personality, because you'll get shit on.
Get lambasted.
You do, man. It's good.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm forcing it on you now. You have to say that. But Eric, you were gonna say something, Eric?
Oh, was I? Yeah, I guess I am.
You were gonna.
Yeah, I was. So
okay.
I'm gonna switch back to what I will say now. But
okay.
So Peter, I discovered you. Well, before this actually, but I saw you speak at I think it was Steve Schul. We talked about this on your podcast.
Right.
I saw it was some coaching event in Los Angeles, and you were talking about the importance of video, and you were showing some of your YouTube videos, and it's this super high production, energetic, there's text at the bottom. Everything about it was extremely impressive. I remember watching that thinking, this is great. Agents should be doing this, but this seems kind of unattainable for the average agent to perform. And I know a lot of agents have a difficulty performing on camera at the beginning. So I wanted to ask, now that, Instagram and Facebook and marketing is so focused on, video first, what would you say to an agent that isn't necessarily good at video or doesn't feel comfortable on camera yet? How would you tell them, you got to do this?
It's very interesting. We all fight. Well, I don't know if we all do. I can't speak for everyone. I still fight demons. Right? When I get the camera, this is what goes through Pete Lorimer's head when he holds his phone. Why bother? Too old, too fat, weird accent. Nobody gives a shit. Right?
It's a brutal thought process to overcome the second you open your phone, man.
Jesus.
I fight that every day. It's called imposter syndrome, right? Even when I was doing the Netflix show, right? When I was doing the Netflix show, I was like, dude, I managed to skate into this shit. And I literally did not unpack my case for the first 2 weeks, because I thought I'm going to get the tap on the shoulder, which is, we didn't realize you're not really a TV presenter, so we're going to replace you with someone else. That is something that has haunted me my entire life. When I was a DJ, I'm playing to thousands of people. Pete, we didn't realize you're not really a DJ, so we're going to replace you with someone else.
Yeah.
And it's like, whenever I got these, and I'm not saying this to make me sound like I'm the man, because I'm not at all. But when I was getting all these number ones, I was like, I have this thing, which is, I call it the Medusa effect, which is whenever I get any kind of success, I can't look it in the eye. I'm like one of those dogs that won't look you in the eye, right? When people want to come up and give you an award or something, I'm like, yeah, thanks a lot. Because I feel that the moment I recognize any kind of success, and this is maybe something that's fucked up in my head, the moment I recognize any kind of success, I turn to stone, and it's the beginning of the end of, it's the beginning of the failure of the rest of my life. So maybe I've shared too much, but this is for the people out there that feel like that, right? Very rarely does a person pick up a camera. I mean, I'm surrounded by them. I got them everywhere. I mean, shit. Pick up a camera and go, I look great. I sound great. Everybody wants to hear what I got to say. Maybe Ryan Serhant feels like that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't. I feel like what I got to say doesn't matter, but I fight through it and I make it authentic and I put it out no matter what, as Seth Godin says, shipping date. And I have gone through my own, because you start doing video and you're like, great, I'm doing video, I'm getting traction. And it's like, whoa, getting views, I'm getting views. And then, oh no, the views are dropping off. Does that mean I need to change? And you got to evolve, right? I can't just keep doing, I did this thing called Monday Mantra on Magic Minute. I can't keep doing them for the next 20 years. So you got to evolve, and that the evolution is scary. And I went through even last year, 6 months of like, okay, where am I going with this? And it's, and so to the people out there, I say, I hate to sound like Nike, but pick up the phone. Here's what I would do. Those of you who have got children, or we've all got relations, right? Make a promise that you will film something 3 times a week. Put it in your calendar. 11 o'clock on a Tuesday, on a Thursday, on a Saturday, I'm going to film something and put it out. If you don't, you pay your mum $50 for each time you choke. And it really doesn't matter what it is. It's getting into the habit, and then it will improve. My first video sucked. Horrible.
Same.
So it's, it's just discipline, right? It's a muscle that we got to learn to use. And then the best advice I can give people is plan it out. Don't just wing it, right? Winging it in social media, there's some room for. But most of it, plan it out. I'm sure that you guys, the broke agent, you got a content calendar lined up for weeks, at least till lunchtime.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I have a meme scheduled for 2:00 to lunch. That's pretty much it. But no, Matt does all these hilarious reels, IGTV videos, listing videos, but he actually has a schedule, right, Matt? I mean, you have an entire production team and camera crew, so you have to schedule yourself.
For some of them, yeah. I time block, and even I will write out my entire script so I know exactly what I'm going to say, and then I can kind of have some fun with it once it's written out. But you need to have your talking points, or you're just going to be rambling. Especially, Instagram, it's getting shorter and shorter. People, you need to grab their attention, and you need to grab their attention every 5 seconds, or they're going to go to the next thing. So I'm glad you said all that, though, because I think people do really, they open up their camera and they go, oh, my hair looks like shit today, but no one really knows what you're supposed to look like. So those are just, like you said, Peter, just demons of your own. No one is really thinking what you're thinking. And in fact, I think a lot of people actually do care what you have to say more than you would think. And I think people just don't get that. They open up their camera. I do it all the time. I'm Italian. This fucking nose, man, selfie mode. It's all you see. It's I look like Pinocchio. So like the first thing you see is this giant schnoz. So like you gotta just figure it out, fight through it. And I think if you're genuine, you're gonna hit, and you're gonna connect with your crowd.
I think agents can make it now. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Eric. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, can agents now be successful in marketing without doing video? Do you think that's possible, or do you think that they have to?
I think it's possible. I think you are reducing the odds and maybe reducing the splash.
Yeah.
Right. If you do video, and it isn't just one, I've spent years of my life figuring out marketing campaigns that feel authentic but yet get them infotainment, right? And then my lovely missus, Cindy, she started filming everything she cooks. And she is getting so much traction from that because people can see she really loves it. Now, at the end of the day, what people need to ask themselves out there is, do I want to be famous, or do I want to sell more real estate? The two can go hand in hand. I would say this is quoting Gary Vee. If you have 100 or 200 or 300 people that love what you post over and over again, cater to them. If you're a real estate agent and you want to get more business, the more you can kind of be authentic and cater to the people, not cater to, but make videos that resonate with the people that know, like, and care about you, then becoming Insta famous probably won't happen. if you want to become Insta famous, that's a whole different ball game. And I have an agent in my office who has probably 100 to 200,000 followers on TikTok, which is awesome. And he's put an awful lot of time and effort into it, and he's great at it, but it isn't translating into deals. So that was my aha moment in the past 6 months, which is, am I trying to, capture all of the Netflix crowd and the this and the that, or do I actually want to make it translate into more business? And I made the decision that I'm going to focus on a smaller group, but really deliver what they're looking for. And it's working. It's translating into more and more deals.
So what does that content look like that is more specified to that audience? Because I saw the mantra and the 3-minute series that you were doing a couple of years ago, where you were talking, it was more like you said, edutainment style. What are contingencies, and like quick hitting 2-3 minute videos. So are you focusing more on kind of buyer seller education content for your clients, or what does it look like?
So when I was doing the magic minutes and the, whatever the hell they were, money mantras and all of these other things, I was doing it to capture the attention of Los Angeles agents so that I could grow my former company, PLG, because I never recruited and we ended up with 200 agents. So that worked. Then when we merged with Corcoran, I'm like, okay, I don't need to be banging that drum as loud, because I want to not only attract agents, but I want to now cater to a large part of my database who didn't enjoy all the real estate stuff. And then I set up a separate Instagram account, Lifestyles of the Lorimers, which was only catered to people that I know. And then I found it was just, I reached a point where I reached this kind of crossroads where I was like, am I making actions because I'm scared of losing followers? Or am I taking actions because I believe what I'm doing is best for my brand? And I came to the decision that I was scared of losing followers on my main Instagram page. And I will never make a decision through fear, only through faith. And my belief is very much like, Ryan Serhant does the same thing. Josh Altman does the same thing. You intersperse business with family, and that is the best elixir. That's something I always did in the beginning, and it worked like a treat. And then I became all business. And so now what I'm doing is I'm moving back to a blend of probably 50-50. And then just to give you context on this, I actually did dial up my analytics. On my analytics on my Instagram page, I compared them side by side, and it was a dead heat. 50% of the most engagement came from my personal posts, and 50% came from business. It wasn't 90% business and 10% family. It was right down the middle. And so that galvanized my shift towards that direction.
That's interesting. Because, I think, well, Eric, definitely, you can relate to that with the followers and posting, but that's kind of
I make every decision based on not losing followers.
But I do
in my life is based specifically on that metrics. I do the exact opposite of you. But I like how you integrate family and your personality and your personal hobbies and everything. Matt and I always talk about that. You want to work with someone that you can relate with, and someone that's just pumping out just souls or in escrow posts. That doesn't resonate with people anymore. It's like a robot. Like it's not even a human at that point.
Right. And you get to a point, right? This is more aimed at the agents who have a foothold in the industry. You get to a point where your sphere of influence, right? Which in your case, Eric, in LA is massive, right? Mine's reasonable, but you get to a place where you don't need to keep reminding the people that are in your A group and B group of sphere of influence that you sell real estate. They know that. They just want to be reminded of you. So I think that's an important metric, because I see agents that are really big agents and they don't post any video and they just post gorgeous listings. Mm-hmm. And they're some of the biggest agents in LA.
Yeah.
But I feel for people coming up or wanting to grow their business, at the end of the day, we don't just sell houses, we sell trust and we sell ourselves. Yeah. So if you're only posting houses, you're missing out.
Yeah. It's the best way, in my opinion, for people to feel like they know you before they know you. And before they're going to work with you, they got to like you, they got to trust you. And I think that's the best way to figure that out, because it's way easier to pick up the phone and call someone that you feel like than
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that. I love that you said that though, because I struggle with that too, because I still I'm a real estate agent first, and I do all this content. Yeah, I know. So and then sometimes I feel like I do make decisions based on followers and what are my followers going to like this more than is this going to get me business, which it weirdly enough my whole thing has gotten me a lot of business, which is good, but I'm always fearful of pigeonholing myself into just one thing, just being that comedy guy who's just always doing funny stuff. And I'm always trying to figure out how to evolve, like you were saying, Peter, and how can I implement some more stuff into this. So it was cool to hear you say that.
And then just to give you another metric, right? There are two kind of, not disasters, but duds, right? Failures. So in order to advertise on Facebook, which I'm probably going to have to resign myself to the fact that I need to go back into Facebook. I started a Facebook business page, right? Nobody goes, nobody logs on, nobody gives a shit. People only care about the personal pages, but at least I can advertise now that I have that. When I created Lifestyles of the Lorimers, people migrated, right? I had 1,000 people migrate from my @Peter Lorimer, but I know the core group of my people didn't migrate. And I know that they are more interested in what I'm doing on vacation and Cindy cooking and just goofing around than they are in seeing, you don't need to get up in the morning at 4 a.m. and make 50 calls. So that side of me, I've knocked on the head and decided to evolve it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
So I read in your bio that you work closely. So Cindy is your wife, correct?
Cindy is the woman I fear.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, she is the mother of my children. She is my business partner. She is the brains of the operation and the beauty. I am really just the thin veneer of showman, that on the engine that runs and purrs like a V12, which is known as Cindy Lorimer.
Well, I always thought, like, I see a lot of couples working in real estate, and I have a significant other myself. I can't imagine, being in the same room for, 5 or 6 hours is hard on its own. Is it difficult to, work with, your life partner in real estate? Is it like, is there ever like pain points with that? Is it ever, we interrupt this program because Matt and I have a very important announcement that we have to make. And I'm sorry. I know you were learning. I know you were laughing. I know it was making your day and your real estate career better. But Matt, why don't you tell them what we're thinking?
Yes, Eric. Well,
Please.
This is for anyone who has more than one client. Okay, so unfortunately, Eric, you can go grab a coffee, and I'll take it from here. I'll let you know when we're done. The best of the best do things differently in this industry. Top producers do things differently. Yeah. They start by partnering with Boomtown, the top user-rated real estate CRM. It's all the tech, tools, and support you need to generate and convert conversation-ready leads in flexible packages designed to grow with you. Run your business smarter with the #1 real estate CRM that agents actually use. To check out Boomtown and see how you can score $750 in free digital advertising,
damn,
visit boomtownroi.com/overask. That's boomtownroi.com/overask.
In real estate Facebook groups, everybody asks, what CRM do I use? What CRM do I use? Mm-hmm. Well, here's your answer. It's Boomtown.
Boomtown. Boom.
Never ask that question again.
Yeah. Town. Boom.
Town.
No. I mean, we made a decision to stop talking to each other in 2014, and it's kind of worked out. It's worked out.
Unreal.
We go on vacation separately. We at different times, and I tend to sleep in the garage. No, it's really bizarre, and I say this in kind of a joking way, but also in a slightly sincere way. It's a love-hate relationship. I love working with her, but she hates working with me. And in all seriousness, if you're going to work with a significant other, the trick to it is you can't both do the same thing.
Right.
If one has to do the other. Cindy's incredible at organization, responding, pushing the deal through the pipeline. I'm the hook, right? I catch them and then I reel them in to a point, and then she takes over. And then, you know, that allows me to then grow the company as well, and then pursue these other things like Netflix and focus on social media. But it's working with a significant other. There have been in the early days screaming matches and like, oh my God, we should get a divorce. But you manage to kind of work through it and figure it out. And the rhythm we have is awesome. And then I'm around her all day, every day. We're in different rooms, but I'm around her. And then we just went on a 3-week vacation, and you'd be like, wow, the last person you want to see is him. And we had a great time, man. I mean, we just managed to switch hats. It's become very, very fluid, you know, between business partner, wife, mom. It's seamless at this point.
Some good
Great.
advice. Some
Yeah.
good advice right there.
Where'd you go on vacation?
We went to the south of Italy.
Ooh,
Sweet.
So
that's awesome.
we went to Puglia, and then we went to Sicily, and then we went to Positano, and then we went to Roma.
Nice. They
Where's your family
they
from?
Bade.
Barry?
Yeah. They
In
call it
Puglia?
Bade. Yeah.
In Puglia? Oh, dude, that's great.
Yeah,
man.
I've never been.
We were staying near Bari in a place called Borgo Ignasia,
Oh, nice.
where the Romans planted the olive trees 3,000 years ago.
I want to go. So I still have a bunch of family who lives there. We'll probably go in the next year or two, but yeah, I'm
It's beautiful,
stoked.
dude.
They brought it Rome. The football team, as you say it,
Yeah.
they bought it Rome.
I was in it. I was in Rome the day before the final.
Oh, wow.
Right. We flew out on the Sunday, and all the British guys, what were they calling it? It's coming home.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the game ended, it's going Rome.
Yeah, it's
was the hashtag.
yeah.
The brutal flip right there. That was
Ooh.
a heartbreaking loss. So my sincere apologies for that. I can't imagine. Well, I can't
It is what
imagine
it
I've
is.
had a lot of
I mean,
losses.
I'm just a little
Teams.
embarrassed by the way some of the British fans, you know,
Yeah.
took it. But
Yeah.
you know, it was a fair fight, and Italy won. You know, it's a big deal. We have to grow up and accept it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a good game. How'd you land the Netflix show?
Okay, so I'm sure there are plenty of, maybe there are plenty of real estate agents. I was not one of these guys that had any interest in TV. I saw video to be a vehicle to help me sell more property. And I got a call from this young lady. I forget her name, but she called me up and she goes, "Hey, Peter, it's such and such from the casting department at Netflix. Would you like to host a Netflix show?" And I'm like, "Come on,
Yeah.
who is it? Come on, is this the agent I just canceled the deal on?" and she said, "No, it's serious." So I was like, "Ain't no way I'm getting this shit. No way I'm getting this." She said, "I'm going to set up a Zoom call with the casting director." So I got on with this casting director, and I'm like, "This is a giggle. This will be the first and last time I ever had this experience. So let's have a right good old time. I'm effing and blinding. I'm telling completely inappropriate stories, talking about all sorts of things that I won't even mention on here." And I'm like, I had a rolling. She was cracking up. And I said, "Well, listen, nice to meet you, babe. You know, all the best. Good luck with whoever you find." And she was like, she hung up like that. And I was like, okay. So then I get a call, and I was actually speaking at Inman in San Francisco. And I get a call from the producer of the show, and he said, "We'd like you to do a chemistry test with the co-host." And I said, "I can't do that date, mate. I'm in San Francisco." I said, "But listen, best of luck with you. Best of luck. You'll find someone great. If you need some referrals, great." And I said, "I'm sure you probably want some geezer that's like 20 years younger than me in a tight Italian suit that yells at people." I said, "I got some great folks I can turn you on to. Best of luck." And I said, "I'll speak to you later." And I kind of hung up on him because I was running late. I was polite. Then he calls me back and he said, "I don't think you understand." He said, "We need you to do a chemistry test." I said, "I'm speaking at Inman, so I can't make it." And she flew in from New York. And they sent a freaking plane to San Francisco. So I got on this plane. I'm like, okay, this is weird. And I roll up at the test site. There's me and like 5 other geezers. They're all like Adonises and like super cut and young and gorgeous geezers. And one's an Australian, one's like another British guy. And I'm like, well, this is a giggle, isn't it? This is a story to tell the kids. And they said, okay, and now let's do a chemistry test with you, Peter. And I'm like, what a fucking laugh this is. And so I was like, same thing, effing and blinding and talking about completely inappropriate things that I'd seen in Clubland. And, you know, Genevieve was talking about, you know, some design things. I'm like, what, are you fucking blind? I'm like, that is never going to work. And she said, I love these trees. I said, you know what I love about them? I said, a chainsaw and a bonfire. They're blocking the entire view. And I just kind of went for it, thinking, this is my little mini moment in the sun. And then I went around and thanked everybody. And I said, best of luck with the show. And went off on my merry way. And I got a call and they said, you got it.
So
I love how like 7 times you're just like, yeah, best of luck.
Yeah.
There was no chance.
Keep saying that.
I did. And then to kind of button it up, the producer said, he said, you know, we're really, you know, you got the show. And he said, just to let you know, we have been looking for a year for a host. And I said, and you picked me? I said, where have you been looking? Fucking prison? And, you know, it's that kind of like self-deprecating British kind of like, yeah, I don't know. But we did it and it was great, man. It was a giggle.
So for those who haven't seen the show, can you describe the concept? I know it's about taking Airbnbs or like rental properties and going in there with kind of like a design brain, right? And telling them how they could get more money. And you could describe it better than me. That was a shit job.
Yeah, no one's gonna fucking watch it now.
Yeah, we'll delete that.
So it is essentially I am the Gordon Ramsay of Airbnbs, right? Where instead of going into failing restaurants, except I'm nice, I don't yell and I don't belittle people and make them cry. We go in and I redo the business plan of these Airbnbs that are choking. And then Genevieve redoes the design. Well, I guess we both did the design. And then we relaunch them. And I'm happy to say that everyone that's been on the show has been a roaring success. And they were a roaring success before the show came out. Because the show came out several months later. And we were increased their ROI by about 400%.
That's awesome. So it's real. All the properties are real. All the scenarios are real.
All the properties are real. All the scenarios are real. And then the money actually came from the owners to do the rehab.
Okay. Got it.
Oh, wow. Cool.
A small part of it came from Netflix, maybe 20%, but 80%, the lion's share of it came from these property owners because we wanted to make sure that they were real.
Mm-hmm.
And you enjoyed it like a lot more than you thought you would?
I enjoyed it. It was like one of those pinch me moments. I'm like, wow, guys are sticking cameras in my face and, you know, this is great. You know, none of it felt real and I was like, I'm getting flown around and hanging out with cool people. I went out with the crew all the time and just kind of had pizza and shot the shit. Is that right? Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. It's very, very American.
I've never heard it past tense like that before. Usually, you know, I'm shooting the shit with someone, but shot the shit sounds a little
you
violent almost.
Yeah. You shot
like you're attacking shit.
So, and it was great, you know, and then we were kind of talking about season 2 and COVID rolled up and it's kind of put a pause on not just me, but about, I think 50 other shows all kind of got benched for now. So we'll see. Hopefully season 2 I'll be out.
Coming out right during the right time of this huge real estate boom, reality TV boom, you know, $1 Million Listing, $1 Million Beach House, Love It or Listing,
Selling Sunset,
List It or Love It, or Love It or List It,
Selling Sunset,
Selling Sunset.
Yeah.
There's also the one I mentioned. There's a VH1. Do you watch any of these other shows?
You know,
or like any of them?
Well, the funny thing is, the last thing I want to do is when I'm like, right, I've had a big, lovely, long day of real estate, is to sit down and watch a show about real estate.
Yeah, watch these assholes sell $50 million properties in one episode. It's a little
in fucking 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, I know all those guys. They're all mates, you know. But and they do a tremendous amount of business in the real world. But love them. I don't need to particularly sit down. I mean, they're great shows, I think.
Yeah.
I can honestly say I've never watched $1 Million Listing. I haven't watched one episode. I should really,
Okay.
but
You
I
should.
have not. I should.
Okay, well, we play a game here sometimes, and Eric doesn't know about this at all, but we've played it
good.
once. We played it once actually, and I want to ask you this because you know a lot of people. Okay, so as a real estate, if you could have 3 agents, any real estate agents to be on your team, anywhere in the world, who would your 3 real estate agents be?
Are we doing agents
Charlie's
or
Angels.
celebrities?
Agents. They could be celebrity agents,
Oh.
but agents.
Wow, that's a hard one, huh?
It's a hard one, yeah.
I guess Sally would be one of them.
Sally Forster Jones.
Sally Forster Jones.
Okay.
I guess basically I just pick the 3 biggest agents in the world and then I just kick back, right?
There you
If
go.
we're on a team. I'll take the 3 top agents in the world and then I'll form a team with them and I'll be the team leader. How about that? And then we split all the deals 50-50.
Okay.
Would you want them international so you could hit kind of, the London real estate, the Dubai real estate, or is it all, domestic?
Rather than real estate agents, maybe we should talk about real estate areas, right? So
Yeah.
I would love to open an office in London. That is obviously being British. I'd love to open one in London. I'd love to open one in Sydney.
It's in Australia, Matt.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's where, yeah.
Yeah, it's where, but there's a big tower. I think it's called the Eiffel Tower.
Right.
And
Eiffel 65.
I'd like to open one in Florence.
Oh, nice.
Which is in Italy.
We just had, I know.
Mhm.
We just had
Just for the people at home, not everybody
Daniel
knows
Daggers on the
geography
show.
like we all do.
Peter, we just had Daniel Daggers on the show.
Yeah, Double D?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Double D. Best name in real estate, we would say.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a better name.
Yeah, he's got it dialed in, dude. He knows his social media really well. He's got his niche. That whole Dubai thing. It's like slick. Have you had his boy on? You should get him on. He's really great. The British guy. His name's
Alex?
slipping me. No, I'll hook you up. He's great. He's also in Dubai.
Oh, yeah?
But Daggers is sick. He's on point.
Daggers.
He's real deal. He was
Yeah.
telling us how different it is, like London real estate compared to just like real estate here in North America.
He's in Dubai, isn't he?
He was, and now he's back in.
Oh, he's back in London.
He's back in London now. Yeah.
Yeah, real estate in London it's so funny because you're the wonders of America. I love America. I became American. I'm a big America fan. And one of the things that I love about it is you guys probably can't tell that I don't have a posh accent, right? You put me and you put James Harris from $1 Million Listing side by side. We sound the same. Whereas in England, we do not. I sound like I come from 8 Mile in Detroit.
That's incredible.
In England.
Mm-hmm.
And so me selling real estate in the posh parts of London would be very difficult.
Wow.
Whereas over here, America is a nation that's a level playing field. You work hard, you succeed.
Over here, you have the accent that gets you in the door. Matt and I talked about this. I think maybe we talked about it with Daggers, but I had this Australian guy behind me at my team at Hilton and Highland who was cold calling. And because of his accent, I think he was doing way more business than I was because you just have like that immediate respect for an Australian or English accent. You think it's more prestigious, more articulate. It just sounds better.
You sound posh as shit to us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
seriously.
honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, listen, I milked it, It's like, thank God I never lost my accent. And I will say for sure in the early days, when you used to be at sit open houses and it meant something, people would walk in and I'd be like, welcome to the open house. Can I offer you a bottle of chilled water? They'd be like, ooh.
Yeah.
And they just think you're like a brain surgeon. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't even graduate high school.
I got a question, Matt. This is going to throw you off a little bit. We've never asked this question on the show before.
Wow.
Because we don't care. The real estate market right now. What's going on with it? Where do you think it's going? How would you describe the real estate market today? And where do you think we're going in the near future? Let's say the next 6 months. Crazy, huh, Matt?
I think there's a reason why we've never asked it.
Because we know you
dumb
don't know
fucking
shit about
question.
it. No, it's not a
People are
dumb
out.
question.
People
We're
are
trying to
just,
give people some education here.
Unsubscribing right now. We got them this far and now they're all unsubscribing.
Don't you think people want to know about that a little bit? We've
No,
never asked that
man.
before.
I want to know
Okay,
when
fine.
you
Then don't answer it.
No, answer it, Peter. You can answer
Okay.
it.
Please.
So I will tell you this. I am still aggressively buying, right? As I'm not just an agent. I invest and I do my own properties. And why am I buying? So it's the confluence of this. We still have really, really low interest rates. And I believe LA is going to still see a terrific swell over the next 10 years. So even if somebody, so where is the real estate market going? I believe, okay, let me stop waffling and give you some absolutes. I think the market, we're going to see a shift third quarter next year. I think we're going to start to see a contraction. I think the contraction overall in LA, for example, will be less than 5%. But it will level off and it will begin to swing more central of a market. It won't be a buyer's market. It will just become a more central market, meaning there'll be more listings available. They're going to take longer to sell. I think sellers are going to have to kind of get realistic with their pricing. But, if it's a $2 million house, will it sell for 1.9? Yeah. But over the arc of a decade, for me, real estate is still guns blazing. Especially in a city like LA that we are watching turn into a vertical city. When I moved here before you were born in 1993, everyone had.
I was born.
Just.
Yeah, just.
I was 3.
Everybody had a house. Everybody had some kind of little bungalow. Everybody could afford to buy a house. We're now watching that in LA and several other cities change, where the only option for people is to have a condo or a townhouse. So for that reason alone, single family residences pretty much all over the United States in cities that are experiencing growth is such a great bet. Pete Lorimer's investing tip 101. And I've gone through the gamut. I bought condos. I bought multifamilies. Multifamilies are a freaking nightmare. I will never touch them again. I don't care if there's a fraction more ROI. There's like a shit truck ton full more headache. Mm-hmm. So I liquidated all of my multifamily stuff, and I now only buy single family residences in great school districts, because then I know I'll be able to rent them to people who will rent them probably for 3 to 4 years to keep their kid in school. And they have something to lose, meaning they're not going to trash the place, because if they get thrown out, the kid comes out of that school mostly. And additionally, I will always buy I like beat up houses in great school districts. And that's where I've deployed all my investment dollars. And so that's my tip to everyone out there. It was the best thing I ever did.
See, Matt, aren't you glad I asked the question?
I actually am, because my wife and I are looking to get our first investment property. And,
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Multifamily is an anagram for multiple fucking headaches.
Yeah. Well, we're going to steer clear of that.
That's a Twitter post for me.
Yeah, there you go.
Steal that content.
That's what I was going to say. This shit's going over Eric's head. Too, you gave us some just great knowledge right here, and Eric does thinking of a fucking Twitter post.
What's a single family home? I don't even know what that is. Or a single family residence.
It means you can only buy one if you're a bachelor.
Or if you're, exactly. Or if you have only one family, right?
Eric got all Eric got out of that was a good one-liner for fucking social media.
Hey, you know what? It's not for me, Matt. It's for the audience.
Yeah.
And the audience just learned a lot.
So
I think
it's for the people. It's for the people.
Exactly.
It's for the people. And that's why we do this. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why we do this. That's why we get up and do this.
Yeah.
For you.
No, I'm sure all 11 people are really grateful for this podcast.
Yeah.
That's twice our numbers, actually.
Honestly, yeah.
Thank you for
Peter, we think we might hit 12 or 13 on this episode.
Well, then you beat me.
When the market does shift, Matt, we could change the name of the podcast from Over Ask to Under Ask.
There you go. Yeah.
You like that one, Peter?
I think that's such a great hook. I'm just like drooling, being the ex-songwriter in me.
Right.
Wow.
Okay, good.
That's awesome. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. Yeah. Peter, thank you so much for coming on. It was, actually, I think people are going to get a lot of value out of it. And you're just a good dude. Okay. I can see why you're successful. You have a good energy. And I like to talk to you. I don't even want to let you leave. That's why
I know.
Still
I know.
tough.
I looked at the time and saw that it's already been an hour, and
Has it really?
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
54 minutes. Yeah.
And I'm sure you have a tight schedule. Eric's
You
free.
actually probably have a tight schedule.
Yeah, Eric's free for the next 5 days. So if you need to get in touch with him, he's just gonna
Yeah,
be
no.
in that. Yeah.
Well,
The
actually, I was
energy's
just on
fading a little
vacation.
bit. The energy's fading. I need to go smoke some more Ritalin. So, no.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is my absolute
Smoke
pleasure.
Ritalin. Oh yeah. So our final question is for the people at home. Where can they find you? Besides,
Just
not like the address of your house, but like where digitally
Yeah.
can they find you?
They can. Okay, so you can, if you go online and search Peter Lorimer, my name, there will be a very old soccer player who recently just died.
Scottish
Yeah,
football.
just did that actually.
Yeah.
In our prepreparation,
So-
I reviewed his entire bio, and it wasn't you.
You're like, wow, Pete was born in 1947.
Exactly.
This guy looks incredible. Yeah.
So it's not him.
Okay.
But if you go to @Peter Lorimer on Instagram is where I live. Instagram, and then my Facebook is Peter Lorimer official. YouTube, Peter Lorimer official. But if you want to get a hold of me, Instagram is the place to go. And I want to just say one last thing on that. So for everybody out there who's overwhelmed by all the platforms, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, don't try and be a master or mistress of them all. That's another thing that I shifted to because I got TikTok despondent. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to focus back on Instagram. I'm going to remaster that, and then YouTube. And then I'm going to now go back into Facebook, because the thing about Facebook is it's like an old bar where you know all your mates are going to be. And so I'm about to start hitting Facebook hard again. I know I sound like a retiree. No TikTok. Sorry, guys.
No, I agree. Facebook's about to go heavy into vertical video also, and so is YouTube with YouTube Shorts. So it is very smart advice. So thank you for coming on the podcast. We appreciate it. Matt, if you want to say your signature line.
No, that's good. When you set up the signature line.
Oh no, that's why I did it. Well, you kind of have to say
I usually say
it.
"You take care now," Peter. That's my signature line. We have shirts that say "You take care now."
Yeah, we'll send you one if you want it.
Yeah,
yeah,
if you want a
please, yeah.
shirt. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can send me one, the stretchy one. So I want it
Yeah.
to, you know.
See
We
this shirt
will.
with the key on it? It's kind of sick, right?
Yeah, we'll send you our
I
whole
like that.
catalog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll send
please,
you one of these. Yeah.
Boxer
You can have
shorts,
this
undies.
Misfit shirt too if you want.
That's okay. No, Misfits for me. I've been there, done that.
Matt, by the way, I didn't record this thing. You did, right? It's
Yeah.
recording. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Can you imagine? Also, Matt, I thought you were going to say when you were wrapping up, you were like, "Yeah, so Peter, I just want to say you were surprisingly interesting."
The way you said it was kind of like, you actually have a good personality,
you're
as if I
actually
was like prepping you that it wasn't going to be good.
No, I really enjoyed this episode. That's all I
Yeah, it
have
was
to
great.
say. Yeah,
Oh, you know what we should do also, Matt,
What?
which we haven't done?
What?
If you're watching this on YouTube, like it,
Yeah.
please. That really helps with the algorithm, and subscribe.
Yeah.
If you're listening, and leave us a review. We got to tell people to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Eric Peter's got fucking houses to sell. You're keeping him here all day.
Hey,
I'm good,
You know
I'm
what? It's
good.
for the algorithm. He knows.
Yeah, he's
He
gotta
My
go
respects
buy
it.
like.
my wife's busy working away. I'm just like,
Oh, true.
Go,
You're
man.
you're the hook. You're the hook. You catch it in.
Exactly.
Awesome.
all right, guys,
Love it. Thanks so much, Peter.
my pleasure.